Hello, welcome to the 11th day of September 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. A video exercise that I do every morning about the same time, 5:30 a.m. in Japan, to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with any particularly interesting challenges or opportunities that I met. I go over my creed, at least the 8 objectives and one of the principles, and then I prepare for the coming day. But first, a few notes. Very first of all, I'm not doing this at my usual desk, my standing desk, which is put away due to the rainstorm and thunder and lightning that are coming through right now. Oh, quick note of the temperature and humidity. It's currently 25 degrees and spot on, and 82 or 83% humidity. So not a bad day. It's not much different than the last week or so at this time, but the atmosphere makes a big difference. It truly does. Also, I do this exercise as a journal entry, so you're welcome to watch and leave comments and criticisms as you see fit. I'll read them when I get to the end. But as it is a personal journal, I can talk about anything I want to for any degree of time that I want. I do this in a public setting because doing so, knowing that someone might watch, has a very good effect of causing me to do a better job. When I first started doing this alone in my head, I did a rather perfunctory business of it, and it didn't get good results. But as soon as I started making this a live video, I found that I was more comprehensive in my coverage of the day and my exploration of where I did poorly or where I did well. It's amazing how doing something public can do that. Also, let me take a sip of coffee. Forgive me if I'm slurping through this one. I need the coffee. The storm arrived around 1 a.m. last night. I sleep in the other room with my wife, and my little dog Rudy likes to sleep in this room, although he gets scared when it rains, so he calls me, woof, woof, come join me, Papa. So I come and join him. I thought he was just scared of well, first he needed to go outside, so in the heat of the rainstorm, I took him for a walk about 1 a.m. so he could do his business. I kept him dry under the umbrella, as dry as I could. And then later in the evening, I think he was just scared of the lightning and thunder, so he summoned me to join him, and as a result, I didn't get a full night's sleep. I'm going to be a little bit handicapped by fatigue today, so I'm going to sip my coffee here. Also, thank you to my YouTube supporters, my members on YouTube, my Patreon supporters, and those who watch my videos. They make a big difference in my life. More about that in just a second. I do talk about death in this video. I will reliably talk about that. So just be warned if it makes you uncomfortable. You know what? I don't even need to put this here. I don't even need to hold this camera. I can just put this over here. I've got my wireless mic on. There we go. Why not? From way over here. Look at that. Switch. Yeah. All right, so from way over here, I'll talk at you. So, wow, this is kind of fun. This is a new angle. Why not? Because I don't read or respond to comments till the end anyway. Take off my glasses. Again, forgive my slurping. I need my coffee this morning. All right, having a look at the last 24 hours now, let's take a look at my notes. I have just one note here. It says, spilt tea. It's an interesting anecdote. I'm going to switch the chair a little bit. Something happened yesterday that I thought was worth noting. It's the first time it's happened ever in my life. And it's not happening consistently. It doesn't happen all the time. Here's the incident. Yesterday, it was a very happy incident. Yesterday, in the middle of the day, I was seated on the sofa there. I have this big, giant sofa that my wife picked out for me from IKEA. And I had all my equipage, phones and devices and notebooks and books and all stuff sitting there on the side. And I just poured myself a big cup of hot tea, although I had diluted the green tea so much that it was mostly just a big cup of hot water. I sat down and I was going to respond to an email. And I picked up my phone, and when I moved my arm, I knocked the teacup straight over onto the little thing that I use to hold stuff, and a full cup of water went absolutely everywhere. Now, that's not the incident I want to refer to. It was the way that I responded. Now, normally in the past, always in the past, an incident like that would involve some sort of an emotional upwelling and maybe even an outburst, like an, oh my gosh, what have I done? Oh, geez, Louise, something like that. And reliably, now over the years and decades, I've gotten better at controlling that. I barely get a peep out of me anymore. It's just like, oh geez, something like that. And then I catch myself, use my hashtag fortitude and hashtag temperance to control my emotions. But yesterday when I knocked it over, I was startled by the strangest response. I looked over and there was zero emotional response. I watched my teacup go over and the mess it had made with the same type of hashtag apathy that I would apply if I was watching a character, my fatigue, watching a character on a TV show knock a cup of tea over. Namely, zero response. I was so startled by this that I just sat there for a moment, not grabbing the teacup, not attempting to move anything, watching the papers get soaked with water, lightly green water. And I thought, what is this? How is this possible? That a giant speed bump hits me, yet I barely jostle. That was worth noting. Now, a couple of incidents happened late. I thought, maybe I've changed. Maybe I've become a Superman of sorts that can handle this. I was quickly disabused of that idea. A little later in the afternoon and evening, when I had a series of events occur that brought out the emotion in me, although I was with my wife, and she would say that she wouldn't even noticed it, because it was just part and parcel of I don't talk about the in-between stuff. I typically talk about the extremes, the very good ways I handle things and the very poor ways I handle things. The stuff that's part and parcel of my normal life, I don't even talk about anymore because it's become normal. And being able to handle difficult things throughout the day with no emotion, but almost no visible upset, and a good control of the inside is normal in my life now, that I don't even need to mention it. So I won't mention those incidents here. But there were about 3 of them that happened in the afternoon, which reminded me that whatever happened with that teacup was a one-off. Although I would like to see more of that. I'd like to develop myself in that direction, to become like that more often. Almost reminded me of like little Daruma here. Okay, let's move on now to the creed. My creed, and I'm going to go quickly because I'm so tired. My creed consists of 8 objectives: to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of my time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions relative to my values, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, to do just one thing at a time and do something slowly, deliberately, and carefully, and to keep my balance. Today I'm going to read from the book. Yesterday I read the principle titled Agency and the Great Indifference. I think the next one, I didn't check already, but I think the next principle is the best seat in the house, which is a very aspirational principle, if that's what it is. Let's see. What's after agency and the great indifference? Yeah, the best seat in the house. Page 265 of the hardbound edition, principle number 21. The best seat in the house simply refers to my desire to not wish myself to be in other circumstances other than the one that I'm in. And there's a quote here from St. Paul. I have learnt, in whatever state I am, therewith to be content. And here's my writing. The best seat in the house. This place and time where I am now will suffice. I will have peace where and who I am, at this time, and doing whatever engages my necessity and motive and the pursuit of virtue. Meanwhile, I will also strive towards better ends for myself and others, not as a replacement of my current circumstances and work, but rather as a natural improvement upon these. Very simply stated, striving to worry less about improving my circumstances as much as improving my appreciation for or acceptance of whatever circumstance I'm in, as long as it's not a bad circumstance or a desperate circumstance or a circumstance of wanton grief or pain, any of the aforementioned I should strive to improve myself away from. But my current circumstance couldn't be better. I couldn't have landed, I couldn't have engineered or designed a better landing spot than exactly where I am right now at this point in my life. So no need to make any adjustments there. The best seat in the house has become the reality. Okay, as for today, now I said I would talk about, I said earlier a little more about what I was doing, what I was planning for the better use of my time, namely engagement. If I normally look at my outline of my notes here for the course of the day, I wake up at 4 a.m. every day, and from 4 to 5:30 a.m. is my engagement hour and a half. That's the time in the morning when I attempt to catch up on all my email and comments on social media, YouTube responses. I try to pack a whole lot of typing into a short period of time, and I did that. That was a process born out of necessity, because in my past life when I was a worker bee, because what I would do was from 4 to 5:30 I would pack in the engagement period. From 5:30 to roughly 6:30 I would do the good life meditation, which I'm doing now. And from 6:30, when I was a working man, from 6:30 until quitting time, I was getting ready for work, having breakfast, commuting to work, doing my job, and then coming home. And that pretty much took up the day. In the evening, I had barely any time, hardly enough time for a dog walk, dinner, a bath, and then bed by 9 o'clock. So the only time that I could really fit in engagement with the people that reach out to me was that hour and a half from 4 o'clock to 5:30. I had this kind of sudden realization yesterday that I've been striving to find good ways to fill my days now that I'm not working, now that my business has failed again, now that I've given up the job search. That was a vain effort to try to fill my days with what I used to do. I've given up the idea of that. What do I do, And I suddenly realized the day is full now of time to give good and proper response to the people who reach out to me via social media, YouTube, email, Discord, WhatsApp. Yeah, people call me out of the blue on WhatsApp. All these times, and people, and did I mention email, of course? Duh, how did I miss this before? Suddenly my life is full of free time, and I have a mature YouTube channel, several completed brands full of content that continue to generate views, and by views I mean engagement as well with people. And then a very good and now mature series called Retiring in Japan, and this series, the Good Life Meditation series, which are my staple now on YouTube. Why am I looking to fill my time with anything else when what rests before me now is the excellent utilization of time communicating with other human beings about the subjects which interest me most, namely the subjects I talk about in my videos and in my journaling. What an incredibly hashtag good use of time it would be to spend my days engaged with correspondence of a sort. I become I should call that the correspondent period. So I've put down here for the next 24 hours, what am I going to do? I put down the word engagement. I moved engagement from the 4 a.m. hour to basically the 8 a.m. hour on. Because from this point forward, typically what I'll do is I'll do this until 6:30, then I'll go do radio exercise, and then I'll walk the dog with my wife and have breakfast, and that takes me to about 8 to 8:30 a.m., at which point I'm free until lunch. And then after lunch, I'm free again until dinner. Why don't I use that time for engagement or correspondence? I'll put that in parentheses. In short, I think I figured out what the hell to do with my life. Continue doing what I'm doing now with my Retiring in Japan series. Isn't he cute? I always put this comforter out for him so he can sleep next to the door here. I leave the screen open and he can enjoy the night sounds. Why not spend the rest of my life engaged with my YouTube channel? And then the people that reach out to me asking questions and with their comments and suggestions and ideas and sometimes very interesting thoughts and observations that they make, and spend time, instead of rushing through in an hour and a half to respond to these people, why don't I spend the rest of my life doing so in a very earnest and erstwhile way? For example, I've got this letter that's sitting there. I won't point it out to you because you might see his address. I received from someone sitting there for a couple of days now. It's not that I don't care to open it. It's just that I want to open it when I have a moment that I can dedicate to good consideration. And now I can do that beginning today. Let's go ahead and read comments. Hi Tim, good morning to you. Weather check in the UK at 9:37 p.m. 12.5 C and 93% humidity, showery day. 12.5. It's kind of chilly. It sounds actually pretty nice, but that humidity is very high. Hello, Michael Littlejohns. Hello, Julie. Good afternoon. 72 Fahrenheit and 72%. Sounds very nice, actually. Evelyn. Hey, hello, Evelyn. Julie says hi to Evelyn. Ephesus is going well. I hope Ephesus is going well. I hope I pronounced that right. Erica says, hi, Kurt. Hope the day is PEF. It's going to be a fatiguey day because I was up, I don't know if you caught it earlier, but I was up several times through the night comforting my little dog who was scared because of the thunder and lightning last night, so I didn't get as good a sleep. It's amazing how just even a slight interruption messes it all up. But I'm not blaming Rudy for that. It's just the way it is. So I hope I can catch up. Thank you for your well wishes, though. Evelyn says, thanks. It's otherworldly. Tomorrow I'm going back to Istanbul, then Troy. Wow. Hope you're well and happy too. Wow. What an adventure. Claude. Hi, Claude. El Paso Claude says hello to everyone. Soon to be 68 and studying Japanese in a real classroom in Nagoya. An artist on Social Security pittance, but living like a king, having no attachments. So well put. I think you just summed up the aspiration of all of us retirees in a single YouTube comment, Claude. Well done, and congratulations. Hey, you're not going to be very far away. Come up and see me sometime. If you're coming through the Shizuoka area, just get off on the train, and I'll come meet you at the station. Julie says, that's how I feel, Claude, living like a queen on a smallish income. I think we should all start a club. I like it. All right, well, I've reached the end of comments. I'm going to make it brief today because I'm fatigued. And because of the rain, I don't have any table to put my stuff on. Although I do have a camera table here. This is the table where I typically set the camera. But I have all my Japanese maples and my 3 Japanese maples and my mulberry plant enjoying the rain. And I can't put this out there because it's got a very high quality external microphone connection there, and even a drop of rain will kill the mic forever, so I can't do that. I have to hold it, and I'm kind of out of sorts. Boy, Yumiko killed me. The heat and humidity killed Yumiko yesterday. Hopefully she'll be doing better today. And look at those dark clouds up there. The thunder and lightning just stopped when I turned the camera on. Looks like it's going to clear a little bit here. Should be rain on and off throughout the week. Okay, Robert says hi. Robert says hi to everybody. Hi, Robert. Tim says hi to Robert. Evelyn says, see you next time. Thank you, Evelyn. See you next time as well. And Robert gets the last word at 24 degrees, Celsius, 52% humidity, air quality of 31 in Napanee, beautiful Napanee, Ontario, Canada. Wish you all the best, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe. Thanks for dropping by. Thank you, Robert. Take care.